So one of the things that we want to do is keep track of teams over a full year and help them keep track of what really matters to them. What are their big questions? What are their big assumptions? What are they really trying to do and who's doing it, right? So we've learned over the years that collecting this all into one place, a living document, which we call the goals and big picture document, which is just a Google template that everybody has in their Google Drive for their teams. And then they work on that, they update that. Every time they have big strategy sessions, whether with the iVenture leadership team or with external experts who come in, they'll often either refer to this or literally run through it. So I thought right now we can take a look at this, just a quick look through this 3-page template, just to walk through what's there and why and how to use it if you want to support student teams doing this kind of work. And we start with vision and mission, which lots of people do in different ways, but we try to have examples and clarity on each of these. And the template has the instructions on that one. One thing though that I think is actually more helpful is just a 1-sentence summary of who they are. And here are a couple of examples, right? For example, one of our teams was, it says Maker Girl introduces young girls and their parents to STEM fields through 3D printing and other technologies. So in an elevator pitch, right, it's like a walking past each other pitch. It's the 1-sentence version. Because I think that that really helps clarify teams, especially as they're going through pivots, they're thinking about how the world is changing. Having that 1-sentence clarity is really helpful to them. And then we expand that into a 4-sentence summary that actually we try to capture all of the key parts of what they are, who they are, and what they're doing, right? What the problem they're solving is, what advantage they're providing to people, who those people are that they're helping or supporting, and what the goal of those people is. And then the second sentence is usually how they make money, whether they're a nonprofit or for-profit, sort of how they are sustained. They only get 2 more sentences here. It's really about why are they going to succeed? Do they have some sort of unfair advantage? Do they have an inside track? Do they have really rare skills? Have they already done this? Do they have traction that's really remarkable that makes you think that they're going to succeed? There are a bunch of examples here. Then we just have like, what are the big questions right now? And they only get 2. Like, what are the 2 big questions we really need an answer to? For example, for a team that was trying to sell a new version of a cast for when you break your arm, right? One of their big questions was, in a hospital, who decides which cast the hospital buys and keeps in stock, right? Like, who actually does that? It's probably not in the ER. It's probably, So those are these really core questions that can sometimes be answered in one conversation or one industry association document. And hopefully these cycle through much more quickly. Like, hopefully this is the part of the document that changes a lot. And those are usually big questions about the external world, the behaviors of other people. Then we look inwardly, like, hey, what are a couple of assumptions we're making about our own venture right now? About the internal, the way we work. We imagine that if we do A and B, we'll get this outcome. That's how our model works. Often we make assumptions about how A and B will interact, or whether those together will lead to the outcome that we're trying to have. And that's where we really put in these assumptions, right? For the cast piece, it's one thing to tell the world, like, hey, we have a revolutionary compound, it's going to be awesome. Something to be like, does this harden in the 5 minutes we need for it to be working in an ER? And at the beginning, you probably have to build from the assumption that you'll get there. If your students are often trying to decide, hey, am I going to go full-time on this venture at some point? Or am I going to take an internship in the summer? Or am I going to take a job full-time, right? So an assumption might be about the composition of your team come the week after graduation. And that's why surfacing it as an assumption to deal with it and question it right away before you get to that time and you have to scramble. We have a little guidance on how to set goals here. Very straightforward guidance. And then the last is just goals, like individual goals. Ideally, no more than 3, and certainly no more than 6 per venture, because these are things that really matter. So what's the thing? When do we going to have it done by? And then just a sentence or 2 about why this is the number 1 goal right now. Just to make sure to have a quick gut check with the teams, a sense check on that. Is this right? How are we going to know it's done? How are we tracking it? And lastly, who's the lead on this, right? It's really important to clarify that it's not about who owns it. It's not about who's the boss. It's just about who is going to make sure that collectively the team is aware of where that goal is and is going to try to make it happen. So this template is totally available. There'll be links to it surrounding this video. Hopefully the examples in here will really be helpful to students in making these happen. So that is our goals and big picture document, and I hope it's helpful to you and your students.